Well, from the deadly shooting on the streets of Kenosha last night to right here in Utah, we're seeing a new element emerge in these protests, even here locally. Armed citizens, some part of militias who say that they are on the streets to keep the peace and to protect property. ABC4's Nick McGurk speaking to a number of groups about whether these militias are making protests more dangerous. Nick.
Well, one big group here, Emily, is Utah Citizens Alarm. They say they're about 20,000 members strong. They were actually kicked off Facebook by Facebook. They say there's a lot of misconceptions about what they're about. They want to prevent violence at these protests. Now, we spoke with Salt Lake City Police. They say they would never invite outside groups to help them keep the peace, but they're not taking a stance either way because they do have a Second Amendment right to show up and bear arms. Now, we want to tell you about Kenosha last night because all of this is top of mind when we think about that fatal shooting last night. Here's what we know. That deadly shooting, a 17-year-old has now been arrested. Social media video documenting a white male with a semi-automatic rifle firing his gun, and Kenosha police have even recently warned of armed militias joining those growing protests. Even some on social media saying that the shooter was a member of a militia group. We've seen armed individuals at Black Lives Matter protests here in Utah, from Salt Lake City to Cottonwood Heights, and not all of them have been with Utah Citizens Alarm. They don't represent everybody, but a lot of them at a Cottonwood Heights police rally certainly did belong to that group. Here's Black Lives Matter Utah with the reaction, and then the spokesperson for Utah Citizens Alarm.
I'm not saying that having weapons makes you dangerous. I'm saying that they use their weapons not for self-defense, but as an attempt to intimidate peaceful protesters.
Well-organized militia is encouraged in the Constitution, and that's what we are. We're very well organized. We don't instigate. We don't banter back and forth with protesters. We don't show up making political statements. We are simply there as organized citizens to come in and help protect our communities. That's it.
Now, police don't have a stance one way or another on either groups. They say they're there to protect everybody's rights to assemble, Second Amendment rights. What they don't want is folks showing up in militia gear, some of that tactical gear. And Casey with Utah Citizens Alarm tells me they are evolving as a group. So as they go forward, they're promoting that their members, that they don't wear tactical gear, that they don't show up with AK-47s. He's really trying to improve what they look like. So simply you're seeing a citizen militia show up, he says, to try to prevent violence. We're live in Salt Lake City. I'm Nick McGurk, ABC4 News.